The silver cat feeds when blue meets yellow in the west. A trip to China sounds nice if you tread lightly.
The amazing scenes and special moments. But with these moments, there were also scenes where we saw our favorite characters risking their lives to save the town of Hawkins from this attack. These heroic moments can thus be called badass moments. So I'm glad you're here, because today we are going to look at all the badass moments and the secrets behind them from Stranger Things.
But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple.
Number 1. Hopper, the fearless sheriff. In the first season of Stranger Things, we were introduced to Jim Hopper, played by the extremely talented actor David Harbour. He was appointed as sheriff of the town of Hawkins. In the beginning, many thought that he had little passion to do his duty fully. On top of that, he was an alcoholic who had little hope in life because his wife and daughter left him. All these things added to his personality. But then, as we saw the plot unfold before our eyes, Hopper came out as a hero. He had the courage not only to defeat the Mind Flayer, but also had the love for his town. In one of these heroic moments, Joyce Byers came to the police station with utmost sadness and reported the disappearance of her child, Will Byers. While there was no one ready to interrogate this case, Hopper was the only one who volunteered to get into such a difficult case, where the fight was not against a creature with human abilities, but the battle was actually against a creature that had an immense amount of strength and power. Even after the lurking threat from the Upside Down, Hopper did not back down, and in fact, took the inquiry of this case in his own hands, hence making it a badass moment. Number 2. Hopper and the laboratory. When Joyce and Hopper went to see what was exactly happening in the lab, they found out that serious unethical activities were taking place by Dr. Brenner. He was indulging in connecting to the Upside Down world. On top of that, he was using human beings as samples for his dangerous experiments. When Joyce and Hopper silently entered the lab, they got caught and were taken away by Brenner's security guards. Both were inhumanely tortured, and Hopper was repeatedly beaten by these corrupt men for not telling them the reason behind him and Joyce coming to the lab. He was also injected with a dangerous serum. Even after such harsh treatment, Hopper didn't utter a single word, thus protecting Eleven's life as well as safeguarding the town of Hawkins. Number 3. The fight with the Demagorgons. If you've watched the show, you must know the creatures named the Demagorgons, the hideous-looking and dangerous creatures from the Upside Down. But the cast of Stranger Things defeated them, thus making it a badass moment. In one of the instances when Joyce, Mike, Hopper, and Bob were stuck in the Hawkins lab and the Demagorgons had attacked them, all of them showed great courage. But the real heroic act was when Hopper saved Joyce's life when a Demagorgon was about to attack her. Bob, Joyce's love interest, also gave up his life to protect Joyce from the dangers of the Demagorgons. Bob was shown as a kind-hearted man, and he was able to restore power to the Hawkins lab, thus making it easier for the other three to escape the Demagorgons. During this process, Bob was attacked by the monstrous creature and he died. All these moments were extremely heroic and badass, and the secret behind it was Hopper, Joyce, Mike, and Bob's unconditional love for their town. Number 4. Traveling to the Upside Down. Will Byers became the first victim of the Upside Down. We saw him disappearing from the town of Hawkins and being taken to the Upside Down. He was extremely scared, and throughout this time he was praying for his life. Later on, Jim Hopper and Joyce Byers came to his rescue. Both of them traveled to the Upside Down and through the open gate between the two worlds. The Upside Down was a hideous-looking place with dark dungeons, slimy walls, and the danger of the Demagorgons always present. Even after such an amount of risk, Joyce and Hopper, in a badass moment, traveled to the Upside Down and eventually saved Will. Number 5. Eleven and her powers. Eleven ran away from the laboratory, where she was being treated as a mere sample for their dangerous experiments, into the town of Hawkins. She was first given shelter by Mike, who later became her love interest. Due to the repeated experiments that were conducted on Eleven, she gained powers. One can call them telepathic powers or psychokinetic powers. This meant that Eleven could connect with the Upside Down world. Eleven, together with Mike and his friends, Joyce and Hopper, went on a quest to to find the reason as to why the disappearances were taking place and where those people were kept. 11 used her powers to enter into the upside-down world. Every time extreme power was utilized to enter into the parallel world, she had to go through immense physical pain, but the young kid was willing to go through physical pain for the town of Hawkins and its people. The biggest badass moment was when 11 used her powers, and after that her nose bled. The way she wiped it nonchalantly showed her true badass personality, and how she was ready to show the Mind Flayer her powers. Number 6. 11 dressing up as a punk. Before 11 was adopted by Jim Hopper, she went to stay with a few other kids who also shared the same background as her. All the kids had powers, as all of them were treated as samples in the Hawkins lab. As 11 went to stay with these kids, she also learned their mannerisms. Those kids were using their powers to rob places and earned their livelihood from it. Similarly, 11 went with them to rob a supermarket, but what she was wearing was completely badass. 11 was wearing an all-black outfit with thick eyeliner and slick hair. In one instance, we even heard 11 say the word bitchin'. In order to become a part of their lives and to be treated as an accepted individual, 11 took up this personality and the audience loved it. Number 7. Nancy Wheeler and her journalism. Nancy Wheeler, Mike's sister, played by Natalia Dyer, worked as an intern in a newspaper company. She soon became a part of the entire battle against the Mind Flayer and the Demogorgons. But as she was interning, she was not treated as an equal by those working there. Due to her gender and age, she was seen as immature and was only told to serve tea and coffee to the other editors and journalists. This infuriated Nancy, who knew she had a lot more potential than this. In order to showcase her talent and passion for journalism, Nancy Wheeler went against her boss's will and took up a case which he had not allowed. This case was regarding the diseased rats and why so many people were consuming chemicals and were dying in the town of Hawkins. Nancy asked her boyfriend Jonathan, played by Charlie Heaton, to take photographs of the crime scene, and then she alone took up this case and inquired about it. Together with Mike and his friends, Byers, 11, and Hopper, she was even able to find a connection between this strange activity and the upside-down world. Thus, by fighting the workplace harassment and discrimination, Nancy was seen as a badass, while she was looking into the case all by herself. Number 8. The genius Maya Hawke. Playing the role of Robin, who was working in an ice cream store in Starcourt Mall, was able to crack the Russian code. This was a rather badass moment, as we saw her understanding and then breaking the code. How did this happen? The Russians were working secretly underground and were constantly connected with the Upside Down. In fact, many say that the Russians made the Demogorgons as well as the entire Upside Down. Having said that, Robin, Dustin, and Steve all started investigating the code. These Starcourt employees were competent enough to crack an extremely tricky code which said the week is long and the silver cat feeds when blue meets yellow in the West. The trip to China sounds nice if you tread lightly. Well, if any of us would have heard this code, we would have never been able to crack it. But these kids did, and thus this was a badass moment in the show. They eventually found out that the Russians were in fact working under the Starcourt Mall. Number 9. Hopper's last heroic attempt. The last scene of Season 3 was rather sorrowful. This was because after much struggle, the entire team was finally able to find the open gate between this world and the Upside Down. When they found it, it was extremely difficult to close it. 11 had to use all her power in order to close the gate, after which we were shown that she had lost all her powers. But the most badass moment was when Hopper gave up his life during this entire struggle. He was taken in by the Upside Down world. He did this just so the people of Hawkins could live a safe life. Hopper's daring attitude is one of the many reasons why we love him. He gave priority to his town's safety. Rather than saving himself, he sacrificed himself for the town of Hawkins. Later, in the last episode, we saw 11 sobbing and missing this heroic character. All these moments add to the amazing plot written by the Stranger Things writers. There are so many moments from the Stranger Things crew that we all love and admire. So if you loved this video, make sure you watch all the other videos on our channel. See you next time!